They've won Tonys and Oscars and Emmys and Grammys. There's no red carpet because they're home in their jammies. From Melrose Place to Broadway to Janeway and her crew. Let Seth and James bring all the stars to you.
Anywho.
They're entertaining everyone, so who's gonna grouse? Just sit right back and you'll hear some tales on Stars in the
Hello, everyone.
Hi, I'm Seth. This is James. Welcome to Stars in the House, Orlando version. Normally, we raise money since March for the Actors Fund, which is for anybody in the arts across the country. No matter what you do, you can go to actorsfund.org and get help. However, tonight we're focusing on one particular city and all the artists there who really could get help from the Actors Fund, but they have so much need.
Yeah, and we're going to hear from our pal Wansa from Orlando, whom I think we met 12 years ago. It's been a long time. Yeah. Julie, we have a picture. Julie was really little. But yeah, Orlando's problems are very specific to them and artists down there, and Wansa will be here to talk about that. But before we get to Wansa, and we have so many guests, so many people from Orlando are with us today that have made it big. I don't know why I'm putting that in quotes.
Because their careers are. I mean, Paul Vogt's here. He already admitted he's on a TV show, but it's Nickelodeon. Look at his costume. Okay, we gotta go. Anywho, it's all good. What are you saying?
But we have raised for the Actors Fund, to go back to Seth's point, $607,210. And we hear Bagel in the background. Let's just show. Bagel is the worst patient, because I know everyone's asking.
He had neck
Bagel.
surgery. He's supposed to be on bed rest. He's just running around. He has no concern.
He's impossible. So this is today. Yeah.
That's him. You see, that's him in the doggy store. I think it's actually a little video version of it too.
Well, no, it didn't come out all that well. Give me.
But you see, that's him. I was getting him a new harness, but instead he basically stole that toy and was standing at the door.
Seth to buy it, like a kid. Force Seth to buy
nightmare.
And so what Seth went in there for, just like a kid, Seth didn't leave with the steps, for him to walk onto the bed or
he went into
or
the
a better
steps.
Harness.
He wants to jump.
He just wanted the toy.
Anywho, I'm furious.
That's right. So Seth, I know that we were going to bring on Wansa first. Yeah, we want to bring on.
No, let's bring on Wansa first because he's on break. So Wansa, this is Michael Wansa, but he goes by Wansa.
Hey guys, how are you?
Hi, Michael Wansa. Michael is basically, they call me the mayor of Broadway. Michael to me is the mayor of Orlando.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do in Orlando, he'll get you into whatever restaurant you want. Literally whatever you want to do. He's like, I'll call my friend who created it, who owns it, Anyway, Wansa is everything Orlando. So why did you contact us to ask us to help out Orlando?
Well, first of all, you guys have been 12 years ago. You first came to perform at the Parliament House, Seth, and I lured you here with a promise of a family vacation with Julie. We met up with Audra McDonald, who happened to be here at the time, and I introduced you to your Project Runway crush, Jesse Lenore.
Remember? Hold on. Just so you know, right there. Jason Lenore we're obsessed with, and his wife Audra was here. We literally have a photo of all of us. You could see me. I don't think I'm too obvious I'm in love with Jesse in this photo. What do you think? Look at James, oblivious to my love, facing straight out. And there's Wansa, there's Audra and Zoe and Julie. Anyway, yes.
God, how young Julie is. That's crazy. Well, anyway, who would have thought that you would end up being such necessary friends to Orlando time and time again. In the wake of the Pulse shooting tragedy, you guys immediately put together the group of Broadway stars and recorded What the World Needs Now Is Love. And then my group of friends who put together From Broadway with Love in Orlando, which you hosted, you guys helped wrangle talent for. And it's just great. As a matter of fact, Seth, it's at that event that I met my current Broadway crush, who you're having on the show tonight. So I'm thrilled, although it's a bit of a travesty. I think that it's a real disservice that someone so good-looking and sweet-spirited and as talented as Justin Sargent should be straight is just a crime against nature, I feel.
He's married with a wife, but we'll see.
Yeah, and they sired one of the most beautiful children I've ever seen in my life. But I'm not a religious man, but I do pray daily that Justin might convert to Mormonism so I could become a sister wife.
That's nice. That's very sweet.
But anyway, the reason why we called you this time was specifically that, you just mentioned almost every star that's on the program tonight is from Orlando. And Orlando has this disproportionate number of performers, talented performers, and technicians and whatnot from the performing arts for a population our size, because our theme park and dinner show industry holds auditions around the country and lures talent to the area. So we now have a disproportionate need with respect to people who have lost their jobs in that industry. Walt Disney World, for example, employed 270 Actors Equity members, and in one day 2 months ago, let 210 of them go, fired them. And there'll be another round of firings after the first of the year.
And Wansa, hold on for a second, because you have 270 actors, but as we all know, and we talk about on the show every day, the Actors Fund, for example, isn't just for actors. It employs a lot of other people. So I'm sure there were other people laid off, right, who helped make that shows happen.
Of course. And we also have a disproportionate number of theaters for a city our size, but none of them employ, let's say, set designers, costumers, choreographers, lighting technicians on a year-round basis. So it's very much a gig economy, and all of these people are without work. Another interesting thing that makes us a little bit unique is that, unlike in Chicago or New York or LA, we have a disproportionate number of people who are actually homeowners because of the low cost of living here, the fact that we don't have a state income tax, and the fact that people feel secure in their jobs, or did with the theme parks. And so these people are not just faced with walking out on the lease of an apartment, but actually losing their homes. But what's really sad is that every couple of days on Facebook, honestly, you see someone else posting that they're leaving because their blood relatives live in a different state, because we're such a transient place, and then they can no longer, they have to leave because they need a place to live. So we're bleeding our talent pool, so that when the pandemic is over, if we can't help keep people here, we're really going to be in a dire situation. We are in a dire situation, and that's why I called you guys, and you have so generously offered to help us.
And Wansa, it isn't just Disney or Universal, or I'm sure there are other parks too,
dinner
right?
Parties too. Dinner theaters.
Yes, and so many tiered attractions, dinner attractions, and themed things that require actors as narrators and whatnot. And then we have regional theater here. Orlando Shakespeare Festival is one of the best theater complexes, is one of the best regional theaters in the country, and we have Mad Cow, that other theaters that pay people, but there's no seating capacity for the ones that are open, and so many of them, we're all streaming and doing events in that way, but it's hit and miss. And so we literally have, I personally have friends who are in line for food, and nobody thinks of this particular group of people as being needy, but this is the group that every charity and disaster fund in town turns to when they've needed help over the years. It's always the singers who step up, and now I think it's time to give back. I'm sorry.
Wow, Michael, you're so incredibly well spoken. Second of all, I want to say, what is GOPAR, specifically GOPAR.org, where we're asking everyone to send their donations to tonight? What does it do?
It's Greater Orlando Performing Arts Relief, and it grew out of, if I can just quickly shout out to Kenny Howard, Rick Sharon, and Rick Claggett. The four of us started the Greater Orlando Social Distance Showcase, which the very first one you, Seth, did a PSA for, and you hooked us up with the right people at the Theater League and Actors Equity to get the waivers for people to perform. And we did a one-night telethon, and just said, look, if you need money, contact us, we'll send you $100. And unfortunately, we had 190 people apply for the $100. so we ended up doing that for 8 weeks and raised $19,000 and gave out these $100 gifts. But we weren't tax deductible. We weren't legal. We weren't a 501c3. And that division of Florida was closed. You couldn't even apply to get the status. So we hooked up with St. Luke's United Methodist Church in Orlando, which in town is known as the Performers Church, because all of the theme park people and tend to go there. There's this incredible music and theater program, but they also have an incubation program where they help launch nonprofits. So if and when people watching tonight do make a donation to GOPAR, you'll arrive at a St. Luke's branded website as well. But the money absolutely goes in, but it's 501c3 through the church, so that the donation is tax deductible. And basically, because of our alliance with St. Luke's, they have already in place. They've done training. We now have 15 peer counselors who call you if you apply for assistance, find out what your need is, and it isn't just financial. It's mental health and wellness, and just community, and letting people know that they care, food, whatnot. We do not give, now that we are GOPAR, we don't give money to people. We assess their need and we take on their bills and we pay a bill for them. So we, based on the funds that we have at hand at the time, determines the level at which we're able to help someone. But at the moment, what we're doing is things like saving people's internet connectivity, keeping them with a cell phone, small things like that, making a car payment or an insurance payment. And the response from people has been amazing. But the need is large, and it's only going to get worse. Another round of layoffs is coming from all of the parks as soon as the Christmas season is over. But then also, because we're such a tourist influx, the number of musicians who work in nightclubs and showrooms and stuff all around the city that have lost their gigs, and so many of the people who work in the gig economy don't qualify for unemployment. But we also happen to have a dipshit state with the worst governor in the country, and our unemployment taps out at $285 a month. Who can live on that? And I actually personally know people who qualify for unemployment. Our system is so backlogged and the website is so screwed up that these people have applied in April and still have not yet received their first check, and they are literally standing in line for food.
So, Wansa, we want to talk about it more.
We want you to come on throughout the whole show.
And
I'll hang out, but
because we've got a couple of stars out west who want to join and actually are on set and are going to come on. So
don't go anywhere. Okay,
so don't go anywhere.
And everyone, if you donate,
I'll hang out.
You donate. Well, so I'm going to piece you out. I just want to remind people, if you donate to GOPAR.org, then forward a donation to donations@starsinthehouse.com, and we'll have someone read it, like maybe the Pope. Please welcome Pope the Vogt. What? Hi, Paul. What is your costume, Paul?
Well, I'm working. Okay, let me get this straight. I haven't worked for almost a year, and this last week I got a fun guest star on a Nickelodeon show. And it's really odd and weird, and there's masks and super testing, and the name of the show is Side Hustle, and I want people to decide what they think that means. What is Side Hustle? Is it a drama where I, the Pope, might be saving children? Or am I a minister that teaches someone how to marry dogs?
Why are those the two options?
Because that's all you get.
Vogt, talk about your time in Orlando and why it was important to your artistic, emergence.
I actually grew up in Buffalo, but after Buffalo, I moved to Orlando to work for Walt Disney, and I worked at what was Disney MGM Studios at the time. I was original member of Streetmosphere, and that's where I became, I guess, who I am, really, is how I look at it. It was the best part of my life, and because of that, because of the interactive improv we did at Streetmosphere, and then Equity came in and was part of our contract at Disney. And then I think it was the first Equity show at the Civic Theater, which was a production of Greater Tuna with my little pal Joe Wyatt. And that was the first equity theater because the Civic Theater was trying to do more professional stuff. And then it eventually became Orlando Rep, which is what it is now. And like Wansa said, Disney goes out and hires all these incredible talents. And we were one of the first groups of improvisers and from all over the country. And then we got to mesh with the improvisers and actors that existed there in SAC Theater, which is how I know Wayne from doing SAC Theater together. And then we also worked at Universal for a while together at Earthquake the Ride. And
ooh, I would love that.
They had 4 rooms set up, and each person was in a room. So I would pretend that I know everything about matte paintings, and I go say hello to Wayne in your next room. And then they go in there, and I usually set them up to say something. Like if Wayne said, "Hi, my name's Wayne," I'd be like, "Nice shoes, Wayne," and the audience would yell at him. And
how is that an earthquake?
Eventually, they end up on the ride after 4 things. But it was nice. 4 rooms of actors before you went on the ride. Like there's a lot of work for actors in the Orlando area between the parks, between theater, film, and TV started down there. That's where Nickelodeon used to do like Keenan and Kel and all that stuff. There's still some stages going.
Paul, I'm so curious though, because you're from Buffalo, New York.
Yes.
So why Orlando? Why not New York or Los Angeles? Why Orlando?
Well, I just graduated college, and a friend of ours said, "Hey, they're looking for comedians. They want to hire improv comedians, character actors." And we were like, "Okay." We went to the audition. I keep saying we in case people don't know. I have a twin brother. I'm not psychotic. And so my brother and we went to the audition, and they loved us and they treated us so well, and they took us down there, and we were like, let's go do that for a year or two. And then 10 years later,
wow,
we have a life. And
I love this picture of you. Is this what you were talking about when you were
That's Maureen Collins, Mo Collins from Mad TV on my shoulder. That's where Mo and I met. That's me as the chief of police who might or might not have been drunk. We can't say because it's a Disney park. And then she was one of my deputies, and we would do physical and verbal improv comedy. Like nobody was doing anything like this at the time. We were really creating, and it was so much fun, and it's still crazy and fun.
And what's this?
That's me eating a child. I would have to eat a child once a day to keep my comedy chops up.
For nourishment? No, is that in the park?
Yeah. Yeah, people would always be like, take a picture with my baby. And so I'd always like grab their child and do something with it.
And then you also did Sweeney Todd down in Orlando?
So Sweeney Todd was in 89. I got to Disney in 89. I got to Florida, and this was the first show. It was in September. I arrived like in February. So in September, I got up the nerve to audition for a local show, and that was Sweeney Todd. And it was fantastic production. Like all the best of the best were in the show. Crazy on opening night, the set was amazing. It looked like Broadway. The turning, when they have that house that Sweeney's thing is on top of, and it turns, and Mrs. Lovett, she was in the wrong place, and it turned on her foot, and it broke her foot. So we're all watching the show in the green room. They're doing the end of Act 1, and you hear stop. And the guy playing Sweeney Todd comes on and goes, "We'll be right back after intermission." And the understudy had to go on really quick, and it was crazy.
Florida's dangerous.
I was not expecting that.
Is that what you developed? Did you do Mrs. Garrett at the Disney theme parks?
No, not at all.
Well, people don't know. I'm obsessed. I would say Paul's Mrs. Garrett is one of my favorites from Facts of Life.
Hi, Seth. How are you? Oh, don't forget to donate so people can get things.
Here's one of my favorites. Mrs. Garrett, for some reason, on Survivor. I'm obsessed with this.
Hey, Probst, my eyes are up here.
All right, let's go. Let's get this going. I got a.
I'm so obsessed with that. All right, Paulie, I know you have to go back to your Nickelodeon-ness. Hang out as long as you can, because if we get some donations, I'll call you back to read them as Garrett.
All right, I will stay here until they knock on my door.
Okay.
Thank you. And now you have your own private trailer? Fancy.
It's never usually this. I'm telling you, it's never this fancy. Usually, I'm literally on the street. All
right, bye.
A brown paper bag.
It's so depressing. Okay, we gotta bring on some more Orlandoans. Let's bring on my good pal, Mr. Norm Lewis.
Hello.
Hi,
And
Normie.
Michael Wansa's next husband, Justin Sargent.
Oh my goodness! Hello, Norm.
What's
How's
up,
it going,
Justin?
buddy? Good to
How you
see
doing?
you, man.
I know it's been a while, brother.
I know it sure has, my friend. It sure has.
You know what? You know what's funny? I didn't know you were from Orlando.
I didn't know you were from Orlando. And you went to Dr. Phillips, is that right?
No. I'm too old for that. They didn't have Dr. Phillips when I was there. Seriously, they didn't have Dr. Phillips there.
He wasn't. It wasn't MD yet, right? He was just Mr. Phillips.
Yeah, they were in residence. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's right. I see.
You're both idiots. All right, so normally you grew up in Orlando. Did you ever work at the parks though?
No, I never got hired. I auditioned for them 7 times. They never hired me. I always got called back, but Disney never hired me, which I think was a blessing because if I had gotten the job, I would have fulfilled that artistic side of me. And I think I still would have been in Orlando instead of here in New York. So thank you, Disney, for rejecting me.
Oh my God, no, I was also rejected by Disney, Norm, many times. It was always, you're too edgy, and I was like, oh, all right, it's fine with me.
Yeah. I think I might. Well, back then I had like this Tom Selleck mustache, and that was the look. And I think they have a no facial hair policy, and they couldn't see past that.
Isn't it also maybe?
That's what I'm telling myself.
I was going to say, isn't it called you're untalented? All right, we'll talk about that later. Justin, dear, so were you in the parks?
I was at Universal. Yeah, I did. I played Riff Raff in the Rocky Horror Show at Halloween Horror Nights, and I was also Grandpa Who at Grinchmas.
You was Riff Raff?
Oh, that's me. Yeah, there, and that's my wife, Celine. We met. Actually, she came to see the production of Rocky Horror I did at UCF, and for some reason, she was like that guy, and that's how that ended up. Oh yeah, there's me.
I was gonna say, why did she pick the monster? She picked Riff Raff.
Well, yeah, that's Ryan Reed. That's the amazing Ryan Reed, a local talent. We got to watch him work out every single night. It was amazing, and not eat. It was pretty cool.
I'm gonna bring up a third Orlandoan who also literally grew up there. For some reason, I was calling him Wes Tate for the last 3 days, and I don't know why. It's Wesley Taylor. Hi, Wes.
Hey.
So who knows everybody? Who knows who?
I know them.
Yeah, but Wesley, I didn't know you were from Orlando.
I didn't know you were from Orlando.
I mean, I grew up in a small town called Eatonville, which is basically Orlando. But yeah, that's I went to Edgewater High School. Did you go to school there?
I went to Dr. Phillips.
Oh, you went to Dr. Phillips.
I went to Dr. Phillips. Wayne Brady went to Dr. Phillips. Joey Fatone.
No, I'm kidding.
Wayne's on this. Yeah.
By the way, just a comment. Please don't just be entertained. Make sure you're also donating to GOPAR.org, right?
Yes, right there.
Okay, so
that's why we're here.
That's right.
Wes, you started your performing career super young. Is it because your school was like a big art school when you see Dr. Phillips?
No, that's high school. From childhood, I was like, why do we live in Orlando? We need to move to Hollywood. I'm going to be a big, huge star. And my parents were like, we have lives too and jobs, and we're not just going to drop everything to move across the country for your little dream. So, but they let me get like a local agent, and I auditioned for all the commercials and the industrials and all the things, and got in the dinner theater circuit. Did you guys ever work at like Mark II Dinner Theater?
Mark II Dinner Theater.
Yeah,
we did. Yes.
Starlight, I think it was Starlight.
No, it was the Mark II Dinner Theater, and it became the Orlando Broadway Dinner Theater, and then after that, it became a parking lot.
Yeah.
For Edgewater High School.
And then
Edgewater moved over. Yeah, Edgewater moved over to that area. Yeah.
Which was really devastating because I did 3 productions at that theater and felt like I grew up there, and it was such a special building to me.
Yeah. Well, it employed a lot of people, and it brought a lot of folks from Southern Florida up to Orlando to see the shows.
Yeah.
Wes, what's this?
So, of course, I also worked in the parks. This is at Pleasure Island or Downtown Disney or something at night. It was a night shift. I was a atmosphere stilt walker. Well, actually, no, these aren't the stilts. These are power skips.
Those are power skips, man. Those are hard.
Power skips, you jump and you do flips and tricks. And so I trained in a gym for that gig. And did that for summers in high school and college when I would come back from drama school.
Wow.
But yeah, it was like atmosphere entertainment. You do tricks and you'd kind of do the thing that Paul did where you take their baby and eat their babies and chase them around.
What about this number from Cabaret? Two ladies. What's happening?
So that is Dr. Phillips High School. That is senior year Petruchio in Taming of the Shrew, and that is our director Karen Ruggiero in the middle, who Wayne Brady knows very well.
Wait, why you have a smoky eye?
I think in high school the eyeliner was just default. For every performance opportunity, you just threw on the guy liner. You didn't quite know how to do makeup yet, but you knew that you needed something for the eyes. For the lights. With these deep sunken eyes, I needed some help.
Well, we have someone here who's a fellow alum of Dr. Phillips High School.
And he was, by the way, able to get hired at the parks with a beard. So, Norm, your theory doesn't make any sense. Here's Mr. Wayne Brady. Hey, Wayne!
What's up?
What's up, Wesley? Hey, Norm, what's up, y'all?
Where are you?
Look, I'm here at work right now, and let's make a deal.
Wow.
So we're shooting right now.
Wow.
But I wanted to take a second to come on and give some love.
You got a job.
That's right.
So Wayne,
got jobs, man. I'm trying to keep them.
I know.
Shoot, 2020 sucked.
Wayne, we're trying to explain to the people watching why it's important to give to the Greater Orlando Performing Arts Relief Fund and why the artists in Orlando need this help and why it's important.
Yeah, why were the arts so important to you in Orlando?
That's an easy answer. Why it's important to give. Just from my personal connection, just like Wesley showed, I grew up in Orlando. If it wasn't for the arts, if it wasn't for the performing arts department at Dr. Phillips, if it wasn't for being able to perform at SAC Theater or be able to perform with Sleuths or to work at the theme parks at Disney as a character and then later as a singer at Universal Studios in the Beetlejuice Rock and Roll Show, at the Mark II Dinner Theater, getting a chance to go and watch amazing drag shows at night at the Parliament House. The arts give you so much, and I would have nothing without any of those places. And so many amazing people have come out of Orlando. So please, these people need your help. We give of ourselves every time we step on stage, and now is the time that we're just trying to give back. So that's why we need to give. So I hope that was a compelling pitch. If not, I'll come to everyone's door and knock and ask.
Hey, Norm, Justin, and Wesley, did you ever see Wayne when he was in the Beetlejuice review?
No, I didn't get a chance.
I don't think so. I got to do, so we did our Rocky Horror Show on the same stage, and there's pictures of Wayne everywhere, and Joey Fatone and a few other alum all over the place, and so it's hollow ground there, it's very.
I loved that Dr. Phillips was right across the street from Universal, and there was like a certain section where you could see through the trees from a certain high up point on campus, and you would see the Beetlejuice, backstage of the Beetlejuice show. And you would see Beetlejuice like smoking a cigarette, and people talk. I mean, people weren't really on the subway. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Wayne was Dracula, and he was amazing. Hey, Wayne, you have to go back. Or can you stay? Hold on.
Yes, I've got to run right back, but I just wanted to say one more time, y'all. Please give. And the reason that Norm could never come and see me in the show is because Norm was already working. And Norm is the dude that I looked up to when I was trying to get out of Orlando, when I wanted to go to Broadway. Norm, you are the man, and I love you.
Well, I love you too. And let me just say this real quick. And, yes, I'm a generation above all of these guys. But Wayne and I have a connection. We have the same birthday. I'm 1,000 years older than he is, but we have the same birthday. So we always kind of connect that way. Wayne is probably one of the most talented people I've ever met in my life. For him to do what he does, like improvisationally, if that's a word, but for you to think that quickly, especially when you're singing and making up stuff, I love you. So I admire you. So I know you're younger than me, but I want to be you when I grow up.
Wait, before you go, let's go back in time. Let's go back in time.
The new president for Air Club Forbidden. Lunch, yeah. Ladies, hold on to your necks. Here comes the prince depths of darkness, king of the Hickeys, the largest mosquito in Florida, Count Dracula. Coming up center stage.
Oh,
Wow. Wow. Man, I love my flat top.
I was gonna say,
man, I had some beautiful hair, man. I had some beautiful ass hair. I love you guys. Raise money. Seth, James. Mwah. Bye, guys.
I love you, Wayne. By the way, that flat top could turn it out. Hold on, we're getting rid of him. Watch some of his dancing. Hold on, he's got it going on.
That's amazing.
So many talented people too. My gosh.
I'm pretty sure the Wolfman is Joey Fatone. I'm pretty sure.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
That's awesome.
Okay, hold on. We got to bring more people on. So, Justin, this is Michael Wansa, who hashtag stalker, but also hashtag in charge of this whole thing. Michael, we love you. Say hi.
Hi, Justin.
Michael, hello. My love, how's it going?
It's wonderful to see you. Do you know, Justin was the very first person to RSVP to be in From Broadway with Love. And oddly enough, I didn't know that he was from here because he was in academia and I was already a senior citizen. And I'm on Facebook and I see I have a message from him and I'm like, oh my God, what the hell is that? And he's writing to say that he listens to me every week on the radio from New York. But when I was doing movie reviews for 20 years on 104.1 here, and that he is a fan of mine. And I was just like, what the is going on here? And then, of course, we met at the event while Chita Rivera was doing her sound check. Justin came and found me out in the house and gave me a big hug, and I've been in love ever since.
So sweet.
So we're going to go to our medical break right here, but you guys, if you're able to stay on, say backstage, and we'll bring you on after our medical break. In the meantime, if you're able to give, where do they go, Wansa?
GOPAR.org. It's that simple. GOPAR.org. Can I make a clarification that I think is important to know?
Yeah.
There's so many organizations raising money right now in Orlando that are arts related, but they're raising money to keep their brick and mortar institutions viable during the pandemic. GOPAR is absolutely the one and only concerns in the 6-county area that we are serving that is specifically to give money, assistance, help, and support to individuals and not theaters or organizations.
Wow. Okay. You want to? Well, Seth, you want to send some donations?
Wes,
real
I'm
quick?
going to send you donations right now for you to read, Wes, because I have your phone number right.
Yeah, right before we go to the medical break.
Okay. Now, by the way, Wes, I have to spell your name with a Z because every time I would go to text James Wesley, my husband, your name would come at first. And finally, I was like, I have to spell it W-E-Z. It was driving me up the wall. So just FYI, just a side note.
I hear you. Okay, so am I just reading?
Just read
everything.
Everything that you just sent me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Think it was a cold read.
All right. Donald from the UK, $50. Thank you, Donald. Carol from Pennsylvania, $103.
Wow.
I like the extra 3.
Yeah.
Donating in celebration of Norm Lewis's wonderful Christmas concert. You can still see it. Susan from Florida says $20. Instead of sharing gifts with each other this year, my friend Barbara and I are giving to GOPAR. Hope it helps in some way. We love our Orlando performers, and I'm an Orlando native. Go Edgewater Eagles. Go Norm Lewis.
Yes.
Thanks for doing everything you are doing, Jessica says, for $100. Daniel gave $120. And Mark says, I donated a C note as I feel for the suffering artists and in honor of the souls we lost at the Pulse nightclub. And he gave $100.
Awesome.
So cool.
Awesome.
Very nice.
Awesome.
That's lovely. So, guys, keep donating. We're loving it. We love the messages. Everyone take a break. And here comes Dr. Lapook with some medical insight.
Wesley,
Norman, don't go nowhere.
Justin,
don't go nowhere. Norm, I love you.
Okay.
Andrea, you're on hold, by the way. Don't forget. Keep warming up, Andrea. I can see you drinking. Keep moisturizing.
All right. Please welcome to Stars in the House, Dr. John Lapook.
Hey, guys. Bring back Norm for a second. I have to thank him for something.
All right, Norm Lewis.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, Norm.
Hey,
Norm, how are you?
I'm great.
Thank you for participating in the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation.
Oh, yeah.
Which I moderated and pretended to introduce you live. And I hadn't heard you sing, but I said it how amazing you were, knowing from previous experience that the likelihood of you screwing it up was very, very low. So, but I said some very nice things about you. But I want to just thank you for being so generous with your time always for events like this, and especially if I'm a gastroenterologist and internist, so I especially appreciate you participating in that.
Absolutely, and I love watching you every time you're on here, and when you're on CBS as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Norm.
It's a love fest.
Thank you, Norm.
Well, today is big news. I was a little bit late because I was on CBS Radio on a little special report about the Moderna vaccine getting FDA authorization for the emergency use authorization. This is not a full approval, but this is authorization. That means that millions of doses are going to start going out. And it means that we now have 2 vaccines. Think about it, guys. I mean, it's been a tough year. In less than a year, 11 months, January 10th, 2020, the Chinese published the genetic sequence of this virus. And 11 months later, we have 2 vaccines and millions of doses of it pouring out. It's just, you have to stop for a second and think, this is a technological tour de force, especially with the country on fire with cases right now. Tony Fauci had said a year ago, and most of us said, maybe if we get a vaccine in April of 2021, it would be great. This is stunning. It usually takes years for vaccines to be made. So the fact that this was done so quickly, and really, truly, I've looked at all the data behind it. It really does seem to be safe and effective. We're looking at a few reactions people have had, some anaphylaxis. There was another reaction today. So people are going to have to wait for 15, 20 minutes after they have the vaccine and make sure that they're in a place that can give them an EpiPen if they need it.
Right.
But so far, the people who've had the reactions have been okay after being treated. And we're going to keep watching in the months to come to see if any unexpected reactions happen. But 95% effective. Are you kidding me?
Here's the thing. Of course, all of that is great, John, but it's hard. I don't think I'm alone to not be very depressed right now when you hear, watching the CBS News as I did this evening, and hearing about the millions and millions and millions of people that are traveling in the next week. I can't, and then seeing over 3,000 people die a day, I can't help but be very depressed. As much as I want, and I know what you're saying about the vaccination.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not alone. You're
not alone among the 3 of us. It's extraordinary that we can't get this together as a country. During World War II, Rosie the Riveter, everybody was on the same page. We had a common enemy. We all knew we had to do this. You have to make some sacrifices during a war. What's the sacrifice? To stay home? What we want you to do, folks, is stay home. Don't do anything. That's not, I know, look, I don't mean to be blithe about it, that people have jobs, people have lives, people have loved ones. We all want to see our loved one. But unless you really have to travel, the patriotic thing to do is not to travel. I interviewed Rita Moreno for the piece that aired this morning on CBS this morning about vaccine hesitancy. She was wonderful, of course. And she talked about, Elvis Presley in the 50s famously got the vaccine to encourage people to get it, and uptake went up like that. Right. And I said, would you be willing to take the vaccine also publicly as an example? She said, yes, I think it's wonderful what Elvis did. And by the way, I used to date Elvis. And she goes like, Rita, she goes, I used to date Elvis. She goes, hee hee. did you know that? And I said, no, I did not know that. So she made an appeal in Spanish to the Latinx community. And she said, what reminded me of it was she said, it's patriotic.
Right.
Take the vaccine. If you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for the person next door, do it for the country. The fastest way that we can get back to normal out of this mess, if people aren't going to do what they're supposed to do in terms of wearing the masks and washing their hands and everything we've been talking about, I think I can't, at some point, you just start tearing your hair out.
Right.
I think then getting the vaccine is going to be the thing that helps us get out of it.
I just want to say quick before we go, just to emphasize, because you keep saying how fast the vaccine is, people using that for a spin of, therefore it's bad because it was done so fast and hastily. This vaccine was done fast, but the science behind it, how long has that science been there?
Like 20, 25 years. So what happened was at the beginning of the 2000s, this is SARS-CoV-2. Well, the first SARS in the early 2000s, they had a vaccine to it. That took 20 months. They couldn't test it adequately because it died out, And then they had the next one, like H1N1 swine flu, was 10 months. But less and less. And then finally, Zika took 3 months. I actually covered that story with Tony Fauci 4 years ago for 60 Minutes. And then this one took 2 months, like 63 days. So it's not like somebody suddenly snapped their fingers and said, okay, let's make a vaccine. It's a platform technology. And Francis Collins gave me a great analogy for it because I've been trying to come up with like this platform technology. He said, imagine you have a factory with factory workers and machines and all sorts of contraptions in there. They're making widgets. And one day they say, let's make another widget. They don't have to get a new factory. They don't have to get new machines. They need to like put in a new mold for this new widget. And then boom, you're off and running. What happened more quickly was the testing of it because they cut a lot of red tape because it was a pandemic and people worked around the clock. And I mean 24/7. I spoke with Kizzmekia Corbett, who's the woman who helped develop this vaccine for the NIH. They were just working from the moment they got the genetic sequence. Same thing with people in Moderna. Same thing with people in the vaccine center under Barney Graham at the NIH. So people were working like they've never worked before. And then, of course, millions of doses got made at risk, meaning they started making this vaccine before they knew if it was going to work. Right. So that now that it works, 2 for 2, home run over the center field wall, boom, it can go out. So people should not be thinking, well, wait a second, it happened too quickly, so I'm not going to take it. The only vaccine that's going to work is one that goes into your arm. The vaccine itself doesn't do anything. It's vaccination that does something.
And I'll just say that I would encourage anyone watching that if you are planning on going and if you are hesitant, I believe all the airlines you can cancel. You're not going to lose your money just because maybe you made a decision. Now you're realizing what's going on. It's not too late to change your plans. And I would say if you ever, this is the time to meddle in your loved ones' lives. This is the time to do it, to say, you know what? Please reconsider traveling. Because, John, I mean, you came up with this slogan quite a while ago, hashtag don't go grandma. But you know what? As clever as it is, it's the truth. And this is the time to remember that.
It is the truth. You don't want to be the last soldier to die in a war. You've got the vaccine around the corner. Millions of doses are going to be coming out, and people are going to be, we think 100 million doses in the first 100 days. There's going to be enough for all of people who want to take it by April, May, around then. So just hold on. And also remember that you've got to dissociate. If you're in a room with somebody who's not in your pod, you have to wear masks. And that means you can't eat with them. Right. Because you can't take off that mask. You got to dissociate the thousands of year old tradition of combining eating with socialization. You know how fast we all eat. Eat separately, then get in the room with the masks. And if ever there was a time when you want to do something loving for loved ones, it's now. What better holiday gift than to just stay home and help keep them alive?
Yes, let them live.
I'll end with this. Yeah. People might be surprised. When they do the statistics about how people are getting infected right now, it's by their families. It's by their friends. It's by that person who comes home from college or people coming in and letting their guard down. Don't let your guard down now.
Wow, this is a really great, informative session. Thanks, Dr. Lapugli. We'll see you tomorrow night during our Susical reunion.
Okay. Good
Bye,
night.
Dr. LaPook. Say hi to Norman. Let us bring back our Orlando friends, starting with Justin Wanzi. Same stupid joke. Wesley Taylor. Hi, Wes.
Or Wes.
Exactly. There's Normie. Normie Lewis.
There he is. Hey, is there any way to get Dr. LaPook back at all?
Yes, of course.
Hold on, John.
Dr. LaPook, do you hear us? Hold
I
on.
hear you. I'm back.
Hey, how are you? Thank you for all of that information. I wanted to kind of just bring up one thought, because, you know, not that I'm a conspiracy theorist or I want to make this like a politicized sort of situation, but I think the information you just said needs to be heard, especially because we are going there. There's a lot of people going there, and especially in my, you know, in my sort of culture, a lot of people feel a certain way because of history and everything like that. So hearing that they've been working on this vaccine for a long time, I know that they said SARS, because I remember SARS coming out and then just going away and nothing really. So knowing that this has been in the works for a long time, I think will help people in going to get that vaccination. So is there any way to get that word out? Because that really actually helped me kind of change my mind just in those 5 minutes.
First of all, I love hearing that. I've been saying it, and I will keep saying it. We did a piece this morning about vaccine hesitancy that was on CBS this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I just interviewed today the most fabulous guy, a reverend from Pittsburgh, Paul Abernathy, who is a Black pastor who has this whole community warriors, you know, that ambassadors, more than 100 of them, that go into the Black community to try to address exactly these kind of issues that you're alluding to. Tuskegee, which was a horrible experiment where Black men had syphilis and they were let to just have it go untreated to see what would happen. There's a lot of reasons traditionally why minority communities do not trust doctors. And by the way, it goes to today. So it's a cop out to say, well, that's, you know, we got to teach them that doesn't happen anymore. You know, that was Tuskegee. No, it's happening today with all the structural inequities that are present. We know all the stuff that's going on. So that's part of that discussion that has to go on, in addition to here's the science. And the last thing I'll say about that is, you know, people hear the term Operation Warp Speed and they get scared, warp, and it was a government thing. The vaccine was finished in 63 days and went into phase 1 safety treatment in March, which was 2 months before Operation Warp Speed was born. So this was not something that was pushed by the administration to create that vaccine. What they did was made it easier to get it tested and out there. But I'm so glad that made a difference to you, and I absolutely will keep saying it over and over and over again.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm so glad you said something, Norm. Yeah, I'm so glad. What we're going to do is, Dr. We're going to take that segment out from the show tonight, and I'll make sure I post it. And Norm, I'll send it to you, because the more people that see it on Facebook, it was really eloquently said. Thank you, Dr. LaPook.
Thank you, Dr. LaPook.
Now back to showbiz.
Yeah. Keep donating. Keep donating to Orlando.
Yeah, please keep donating. Those are beautiful donations. I want to talk. I know you sent the Rocky Horror clip. Can you set this up, Justin?
Oh my God, yeah. So I did we did the Rocky Horror show at UCF, the college I got my BFA degree in musical theater from, and they wanted to do something really wild and different and crazy with the show. So we kind of did this like underground grunge metal rock version of Rocky Horror, and my hair was longer than it is now, and they dyed it black and purple and teased it out and stuff. And I mean, the clip kind of speaks for itself. It's pretty weird. It's pretty insane.
Standard. This is Orlando artistry.
Takes its toll. But listen closely, not for very much longer. I've got to keep control. Doing the time more, drinking those moments when the blackness would hit me, and the void would be a
Those were B's. Johnson, I really went to the piano to test it. Those were high B's.
Yeah. You know, it's not an easy sing that role.
Oh, come on, Justin. You can burp high B's. Come on.
Oh no, come on, man.
Can I just
destined for Drew and Rock of Ages?
Can I just say one thing? We were doing, Justin and I were doing Jesus Christ Superstar for NBC. And the amazing thing about that is like John Legend wasn't there because he was doing a concert in Asia. So we had to have people who could fill in for him so we could dance around him and do the scenes and stuff. There was one day he did Gethsemane and the entire room shut down. And David Laveau, who was our director and the cinematographer, everybody was just like, what just happened? Seriously, everybody cried. Everybody was, it was an amazing event. I'm so glad I was there for that.
Thank you, Norm. That's very sweet of you. That was an unforgettable experience. That entire 7 weeks, whatever it was that we spent on that was just unreal. And I got to have some real, some real stage time with the amazing Norm Lewis and Brandon Victor Dixon and Sarah Bareilles, and got to kind of stand in for John for quite a bit of that. It was very, very special, and I very much appreciate it.
Who did you play?
So I was in the show, in the broadcast, I was in the ensemble. I was also one of the priests. So I was one of Norm's henchmen. What to do about Jesus? Those guys. We got to wear those really cool jackets, and we tried to get them to at least sell them to us. Those incredible priest robes.
Yes.
They were made out of purses, I think. They cut a bunch of purses up. It was really bizarre. But
actually, you know what? I think, Wesley, you had a beautiful priest robe at one point.
Very far away. I know. Rome, Judah, Rome. I'm going to work and be the best Roman soldier there ever was. When I come back, you won't even recognize me.
Oh my God.
Taking it back. So this was a production of Ben-Hur the musical. At the Linda Chapin Auditorium at the Orange County Convention Center, they did a pre-Broadway tryout of a new biblical musical drama based on Ben-Hur the movie. And I played young Masala, the villain, when he was a boy, naturally. And it was like a $9 million production that closed in a few months because no one came and saw it. And it was just the wildest experience for me at 13.
Well, you also lived my dream of actually doing TV commercials as a child. I remember trying out, it was either you're untalented, it was also a little bit also you're Jewish, but I never got a thing. But I'm obsessed. Believe me, that was the subtext. But I love that you did. What's that weird? It's hard to make choices. What the hell was that?
I used to do a lot of kids industrials to learn how to do the right thing. So Choices Count, Kids for Character franchise, which is it's like Barney sort of. And I sang background vocals on Barney also.
This is literally you're basically a pro-choice commercial. Here, let's take a gander.
Yeah.
We picked Jake. This game is done. You win, Jake, fair and square. Yeah, Jake, you gotta pick what we do. Well, I really want to play baseball, but that's not fair. Not everyone has a glove. Sometimes making choices isn't easy. Every morning when I rise, rub the sleepy from my eyes. Choices, choices do appear every day all through the year.
Wow. Brilliant.
I think that's my new audition song, Wes. That's it.
Rub the sleepy from my eyes.
Still remembers it. Hey, Paul Vogt's back. Hi, Paul.
Hi, everybody. Oh.
So, Paul, did you work in any of the parks? Did you work in the same park as Justin? Because I'm not Orlando enough to know what park is what park.
Or was it just MGM?
At one point, I worked for all 4 of the Disney parks. Animal Kingdom, I did something there. I worked at Pleasure Island, at the Comedy Warehouse. So I'm wondering if you were even there when I was there doing.
I was probably working outside of your show.
Yeah. And I worked at Universal too, doing the Murder, She Wrote show and doing Earthquake.
Right.
Yeah,
You got to talk about the Murder, She Wrote show.
I want to see it.
It was, you showed everyone how to put a TV show together. There were, again, they loved the 4 rooms, 4 different actors. In the first room, you were telling them what was going to happen. The second room, I think, was telling them about sound. The third room, you were a guy who was doing Foley, but you were in high heels. Crazy. And then in the last room, you brought an audience member up to do ADR, and they did lines, and then you showed them the little episode that they created. And I think it was, there's only a few of us that actually would do, each room had a different actor, but some of us took the challenge and ran and did each room. And I was one of those people.
Of course you were.
Were you Angela Lansbury? Were you?
I never got to play her there. Norm Lewis, I have to say, I don't know if we've ever officially met. We know so many of the same people, but your version from, I can't even say it. You make me cry when you sing. You're so very good.
Oh, you're very kind. Thank you.
You're very good.
Well, I've admired your work for years, so thank you very much. Mutual admiration. So.
Two things I want to say. Norm, I just sent you donations to read, but before you even read them, everyone needs to know Norm Lewis's Christmas concert is streaming on Fine Signs 54 Below right now. He sounds amazing. If you want to hear him sing just a little Charlie Brown song, here's a hint of what's on.
Okay.
Christmas time is here. We'll be drawing near. Oh, that we could always see such spirit through the year. Christmas time is here.
Thank you for that shameless plug. I appreciate it. Listen, go ahead.
I say weirdly that was filmed a year ago, but everyone was wearing masks. Because people are uncomfortable around you, but you sound great.
No, that was like a couple of weeks ago. But yeah. Should I just go ahead and read all this?
Yes, these are the current donations, and guys, these are just some of them. So keep them coming. GOPAR.org. Yeah, Norm, read it all.
All right. The entertainers at Disney and Universal are specifically why I kept renewing my annual passes for many years. Much love, Amy from Rhode Island. $50. $25.55, and big shout out to Justin, who I musical directed in Johnny Guitar, and Norm, who I saw many times in Abyssinia at the Cleveland Playhouse. Oh my God. Thanks to all for a 21-year Disney musician, currently out of work, unfortunately. Love John, Sean, and our fur babies, Nala and Zeus. In honor of Norm Lewis, my favorite Phantom. Oh, God. And Wayne, Brady, Seth, and James, you are so awesome with your support of so many philanthropic causes. Holiday blessings to you and all of your staff. Sherry from Oregon, $30. David from Florida, $100. And thanks to all the performers and crew to Greater Orlando for many, many years of amazing performances. Hope to see you back on the stage and behind in 2021. Brian and Dan, $120. Donation made as a recurring payment, adding up to $150 for my RCMH friend Wanzi. Rockets were flying everywhere. Love you, Maria. So thank you so much, everybody.
How nice is this?
Hey.
And speaking of Orlando talent, not everybody flees Orlando. A lot of them stay in Orlando and belt up a storm. And here's Miss Andrea Canny. Hi, Andrea. So these 4 clowns moved away, but you're staying there and you're belting across town. So tell us all your different jobs that you have.
How much time you got? I'm originally from Cincinnati, Ohio, and I was in Europe for a year doing 42nd Street. And so when I got back, I called 2 friends that were here in Orlando working at Disney. I said, hey, get me an audition so I can write the trip off. I came in on Friday, auditioned for Beauty and the Beast on Saturday, got offered the job on Sunday. And they must have been so desperate because the rehearsal started the next week and I was still there on vacation. So it was like, oh, you can sing notes on key, fine. And you're a girl, bonus. And so I said, the director was like, well, you're from out of town. What is it going to take to get you here? And I said, well, I can start rehearsals with you on the 30th, fly home on the 6th, get divorced on the 7th, pack on the 8th, and be back in rehearsal on the 9th. Does that work for you?
Wait, go back to the divorce part because James and I want tips on that. No, just kidding. But wait, was your marriage in trouble, or was it just a job offer and you're like, you know what, moving on?
No, that was a scheduled appointment I was not about to miss. And so Judy was like, what the did we just do in hiring this girl? And yeah, so I was one of the original Bells at Beauty and the Beast. And then from there, I did that full-time 4.5 years. And then in a 10-minute contract talk, I literally went from princess to gargoyle and opened Hunchback, which was hands down the best show. Sorry, no offense to anybody else, but it was the best show ever at Walt Disney World, ever, ever, ever. So I opened as Laverne and also did Esmeralda. And I did Patty Mayonnaise and Doug Live, did the Adventurers Club over at Pleasure Island, Hoop-de-Doo.
Hoop-de-Doo, yes.
And I actually did do Beetlejuice. I did The Bride and Beetlejuice, but not that version. It was after Wayne was there. I came in 91, so.
You know, it's so fascinating because it's almost like hearing your story and everyone else's who's from Orlando and has worked there. It's like its own, I don't know, like world that's so unique and different than anywhere else. I mean, I guess maybe Las Vegas, but there aren't that many opportunities even there. You know, it's just like it's really fascinating, and I think it's kind of what Wansa was saying. It's like it's one of the reasons I think for GOPAR to exist is because out of fear and what's really happening in reality of artists moving away, and when this is over, where will they be? And will this exist? Because it sounds so unique and cool. I mean, it's like I wish I had done it at 20. You know, it's like it's really heartening.
I think it would be. I think you would find almost every single person you talk to that's not from Orlando that didn't necessarily dream of working at the park, but it was a gig, right? I was going to take the 6-month contract and then go back to Europe. I mean, and 26 years later. Mama's still here. I did Tokyo for him 3 different times, but still, it's like people come, they have a year's contract, right? So it's different. It differs from Broadway in that you don't. It's not that shows can't close, but there's less likelihood of them closing at Walt Disney World than they are on Broadway. So you have stability for a year. People buy houses. There are whole neighborhoods that were created, like in Davenport, Independence. That's like a whole, I think it's a town now. Celebration is its own town with its own school and everything. Was created because the parks had so much here. And as far as the artists, I've noticed over the last 30 years of being here, the arts have just grown and grown and grown and grown. And actually, selfish plug here, starting a podcast with Ray Fournier called The Rise, which that's exactly what we're discussing, is the rise of the arts and culture scene over the last decades. And a lot of that is the theme park people. And just to correct my dear friend Wansa, it was almost 800 equity performers that were let go, not 270, almost 800. Wow. I got the email. I was only part-time, but still got the email. I am one of those people who Wansa was talking about that last week was the first time I got unemployment.
Wow.
And yeah, that was fun. And so I've been getting my food on Tuesdays at St. Luke's, and I've been the recipient of, they paid my car payment in November, GOPAR did. And I'm going to have a meeting with an HR person to discuss about resumes and stuff. So it's a real thing, and there's a real need. And we're just so grateful to all of you, everyone, for doing this. And I'm a little obsessed with bagels, so I'm going to need
our little boy.
Yes, of course.
And Justin, hold on for 1 second. Margot would agree with you, Andrea. Orlando artists make Orlando work and make every aspect of life better for Central Florida.
And Justin, one more thing before you talk. Andrea, what about Clear for Talent? What about this angel?
Oh, who's that?
you see our angel? Mandy's sleeping, so she wants some attention too. Good girl. All right, Justin, what do you want to say?
I wanted to ask Andrea. Andrea, I know that corporate entertainment is also a huge help for the performing community in Orlando. Has that also dried up? Has that also become kind of just nothing, just doors shut, awful? Yeah, no, that's.
Before the pandemic, I worked at a production company. I was no longer full time at Disney, and literally one day, client after client after client canceling. And I was like, guys, let's just put our computers in our cars and take them home, because it was just everything went silent.
There's so many conventions there, and the convention center is huge, and everybody wants to do, all these companies want to do conventions in Orlando, and then they all want to be entertained. We used to do things where you bust into a meeting of like 50 people and do improv to break up their meeting. And it's funny what you're saying. I know Andrea very well. She's my contemporary. She's the queen of Orlando, by the way. This isn't just some schlub. This chick is the deal. And
I'm wearing pajama pants.
But like in a day I would go and work at MGM and do improv, and then I would go to Universal and do my thing there, and at night I was hosting karaoke, and that would be one day. Like, there's so much to do, and then you do a show in town, or you do a convention and pick up.
There's a lot of third-party vendors that are hired by the theme parks for atmosphere entertainment, and also like corporate events. I was hired constantly as a strolling mime and a living statue for Disney corporate events.
Wow.
And those were some of the harder gigs that I had to do, but they were gigs.
Yeah, so as a teacher, there's so many opportunities there, and now they're all gone. Like, you can't even say, I'm going to go do this.
We also have a lot of great, huge production companies that do a lot of great work all over the world, and a lot of them will cast from here because they know the talent. They know they're going to get great product. They're going to show up. They're going to learn it fast. They're flexible to when things get changed, and that's all gone too. It's kind of crazy.
Okay, so Andrea, you literally were like, you have 1 million tracks available to sing to, which I love. So can you tell me which track you decided to do?
And just ask Wansa, how many of them do I still know the words to?
Oh, no.
Wansa, how many?
Just say there have been some issues in the past where she's had to la-di-da instead of saying actual words.
You relate.
Yes.
Some of them were shows of mine that she was in. Andrea Canny played Lizzie in my musical that I wrote with Rich Sharon about Lizzie Borden. She was Lizzie, and she was fabulous.
Wow.
Wait, by the way, speaking of bragging, Michael Wansa, you just did Vanya and Sonia and Masha. What did you just get nominated for?
The Orlando Sentinel Theater Critics Best of the Year Awards. I'm nominated for Best Actor in a Comedy for Vanya.
Yes.
I'm not surprised. Bravo, Michael.
Wait.
Hey, let that segue. Wait, hold on. Let that segue to Wesley talking about somebody who was at the Orlando Sentinel. Go.
Oh yes.
Oh, thank you, Norm, for looking in this private chat. Okay, so I'm looking over here and I'm perusing the comments, and I'm looking through these public comments, and I find when you showed the Ben-Hur clip, a certain woman named Elizabeth Maupin.
Yes.
Who was the head theater critic at the Orlando Sentinel when I was a child. Are you still there, Elizabeth?
She's
Make
gone.
yourself known. She's probably leaving now. I'm not going to be mean. In fact, look, I need to thank her, because when you're a child, no one tells you when you suck. No one tells you when you're bad. And she did. And she, I was in the Sound of Music when I was 11 at the Mark II Dinner Theater. And I did Ben-Hur when I was 13, and she destroyed those two shows and made sure to talk about my off-key performance as well. And these little things are good. They are character building. So I thank you, Elizabeth Maupin. I'm so glad that I have this opportunity to look you in the camera and say thank you. I feel like I did vindicate myself with the family, because she is related to Armistead Maupin, who of course wrote the Tales of the City series. Right. And I did the world premiere of Tales of the City in San Francisco.
Oh, with Armistead.
To be fair, Wesley, Ben-Hur was an absolute travesty. That
It was awful. It was awful.
Christians with too much money on their hands to spend. But
Look, I'm not saying it wasn't bad. She was right to trash it.
Elizabeth Maupin once wrote of one of my plays. She wrote, Michael Wansa can't decide whether he is Stephen Sondheim or Charles Bush, but I'm sure neither of them would want their name in the same sentences.
Oh my God. Elizabeth.
I have to say, Elizabeth Maupin, I think she's a really good critic, and she
was
lover of the arts.
Yes,
she liked me, and
that's why you love her.
I love her because once I decided my green eyes, I wanted them to be brown, and I would wear brown contacts because I thought that was cool. And I did a show, and my brown eyes got mentioned in the review. So she's brilliant.
Paul, do you remember when they had the Arts Mall? And you might have been in the show. I think it was like you and Kitsch, Ellen Flint, and some other people doing comedy in that old mall, that strip mall. It was turned into like a little theater, and you guys did improv comedy.
Oh, not theater downtown.
No. It was
over in Winter Park.
Winter Park, yeah. And so I went, and I was in the audience, and you guys were so funny, right? And I can't help it. I laugh loudly. And she actually reviewed my laugh. Like I got mentioned in the review. I was like, but that's funny.
Me too. At a performance at Theater Downtown of Glass Menagerie, she reviewed my laugh.
Because that's
a very funny show. What a great show. That and the Helen Keller play, really funny. One in the audience of any of those is perfect.
Well, brother.
James?
Go ahead. Sorry,
Paul. Seth just sent you some donations before they call you back to Seth.
And they're all from Elizabeth.
Ay.
Wait, Wansa, Dimitri says, remember Assassins in a fight started because you laughed?
Oh my God. It was a Sunday matinee performance of Assassins. And I was the youngest person in the audience of blue hairs. And none of them really got it. All they could know about it was that it was a play about presidents being shot at. And they could not get the dark comedy aspect of it. And when I was laughing at the parts that any sane person with any amount of theater savvy would laugh at, this man in front of me kept turning around and looking at me. Then at one point, he literally turned around and out loud said, "Will you stop laughing? They're killing presidents." So loud that the audience on the stage, the actors on the stage stopped. And I just kind of looked at him. And then he did it a second time, and I couldn't help myself. And I said, "Shut the fuck up and turn around and watch the goddamn show."
Wait, hold on. Wait, was this in the back of a bar?
All of you do know the show is still going on, right? This isn't like
was
in broadcast and you
in the
keep
little
talking.
black box theater, the Tupperware Theater at Civic.
I don't know what's happened. Okay, let me just say Orlando. You know how I said that Orlando was like a unique microcosm? We've done 300 shows. This is the first time that this has happened.
We've derailed.
Oh, you're not allowed to say fuck? I'm sorry.
Twice now, in one show, in 2 minutes. Twice in 2 minutes.
See, that's kind of amazing.
That is. It's a record.
That's reserved.
I was in that production of Assassins. I was on stage during that.
Oh, you were? Yes.
That's where I met my husband, Dimitri, because it's a romantic show about killing.
Yeah.
I think Andrea needs to save the show right now.
Well, no, Paul. There's Paul in Assassins right there.
Oh, no.
No, Paul has
what an award.
donations. Paul needs to read the donations.
Okay, I'll read these donations.
You go.
Am I supposed to do it like Mrs. Garrett, or?
Yes.
That would be nice.
Thanks for donating. Tuning in from Brooklyn, New York, and wanted to say thank you. And what an amazing cause. Right away, I saw you, Wesley, in SpongeBob on Broadway, and I thought you were amazing. She gave $5.
Great. Thank you for the $5, though.
I can't do that. I'm the one who dyed Justin's hair for Rocky Horror at UCF. He was also so brilliantly talented and so genuinely great person. Dan from Orlando, $50.
Right, Dan.
I also
saw
given the current situation, $5 to some people may be like giving 1,000 to another. And if you go to GOPAR.org and scroll down, there's a section for you to join our Dollarama Club, where you simply agree to give $1 a month. Because we know that for some people, that's something. And if enough of us consider that to be something, those dollars a month can add up. So please, no matter the amount, please don't be shy about giving.
That's great.
So Andrea, out of all of your tracks, what are you singing for us?
Well, I remember the words to. I shouldn't have said that. I should not have said that. I'm going to knock on everything, but then my dog will start barking. It's a Garland medley, and it was when I worked at Kings Island in Cincinnati. It was arranged by the fabulous late and great Scott Woolley, and it's just a fantastic medley. And I thought, it might be different. People might not have heard it unless they'd seen me at Kings Island or have my CD. But yeah, so it's just, I love it. It's fun. And it's got 3 different kind of styles of her songs. And it's just.
And Andrea won't say it, but it's from her CD called Cab Fab, which is available on Amazon. So if you like this medley, go on Amazon and help Andrea out and buy her CD, Cab Fab by Andrea Canny.
All right, so we're going to go off because people who know us well from this show, and Susan Nipper is one of them, Seth has given up and is hanging with Mandy.
No, it's not at all. Just FYI, Mandy gets anxious and starts biting her nails, crazy style, and the only way to stop her is to sit next to her. So she's pulling her nails off. So that's why I'm
sure, Seth. We'll buy that. All right, Andrea, hit it.
Okay, I'm my own technician. Let's see how this goes. Dear Mom and Dad, tonight I'm opening in a show, and I'm nervous and excited, you might say. My heart beats like a hammer, and I stutter and I stammer when I think of opening night on Old Broadway. If there is one wish you might grant me, let me be Judy Garland for a day. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, somewhere over the rainbow. It's fine over the rainbow. Why then, oh why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, why can't I? You want to have bells that'll ring, you want to have songs that'll sing, you want your skies of baby blue that I need over you. Why the holdout? Have you sold out? Time you woke up, time but have me go with you. Good riddance, goodbye. Every trick of his, you're wrong to. But we'll be fools, and where's he gone to? The road gets rougher, it's lonelier and tougher. With hope, he'll burn up. Tomorrow he will turn up. There's just no let up. The live long night and day. Ever since this world began, there is nothing sad. Looking for the man that got away. The man that got
So good.
Beautiful.
Brilliant.
GOPAR.org.
GOPAR.
Listen, that's awesome. That's and I just want to say I got a text from Dan Labuno. He says, "Hi, you're his bestie."
Hi,
So,
Dan.
We
Dan.
grew up a cow pasture away from each other in Cincinnati, Ohio. Like literally a cow pasture.
Wow.
Andrea's choice to stay in Orlando is Broadway's loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
That's
Mr.
all I'm
Chicago.
saying.
Thank you. Did you see Cheetah is in the back? She's joined us this evening.
Aww.
Now listen,
That's
this
a
show's
Jeffrey
gonna-
Lloyd Marks artwork. Fabulous.
This is going to stay up on the site, starsinthehouse.com. And just because the show's no longer live doesn't mean you can't keep donating.
And
So
definitely the need will be there.
yeah, so it's GOPAR.org. Keep donating because there's not going to be live performing in Orlando for a very long time, and the artists are really struggling. So
and Seth, is there a way to see this, post this broadcast, or no?
yeah, it's at starsinthehouse.com.
So great, it stays in the archive.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it stays up. It's online, so anyone can watch it anytime.
Wansi, I just want to say thank you for bringing this to our attention. Thank you so much.
Norm,
I'm
thank
gonna
you
donate.
to everyone, especially you, Seth and James, for coming to our rescue yet again.
Yeah.
And I just want to shout out to Maria, who I heard listed in the donations, a young lady I have not seen since the early 1980s when we worked together as tour guides at Radio City Music Hall, who made a sizable donation. So thank you. But I love you all. Thank you all so much. You're amazing.
Thank you,
everyone.
everybody.
Tomorrow, Seth, we have Seussical, right?
Yeah, tomorrow's a Seussical reunion with all the stars and the writers, Lynn Aronson, Stephen Flaherty, will come back and keep donating to GOPAR.org. Peace and get Norm Lewis's Christmas show. Bye-bye.
That's right. All right.
Hey, Wesley, tell Isaac I said hi. Tell Isaac I said hi.
Of course.
It's a callback.
That's right.